This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, so good morning again, everyone who's in person with us and online as well. Thank you for joining us through this month's Rise and Shine with Kay Moore. We had Kay the very end of last year join us, but a lot of things have changed since that. First Friday is back. We're excited about that. A huge turnout this past Friday. More and more in-person events are returning, so we're so excited. So I wanted to have Kay come back to discuss some of the updates on those and some of the upcoming events. So Kay, thank you for spending your Friday morning with us. We really appreciate it. I'll go ahead and mute myself and turn my webcam off, and I will turn it over to Kay.
Button. You are unmuted. Does it say that? Oh, I hit that button. Okay, thank you, Will. I told you I wouldn't do it right, but it's a good thing to be here. I'm glad to see people here this morning. The last time I did this, Will was quarantined and he was not here, and it was me and Heather, and we just had a good time. But it's so much better to talk to people. I feel so much more comfortable talking to people than I do talking to just a camera. But this is a great setup that y'all here. I'm proud to be here this morning. For those who are here, I want to take a minute to introduce Catherine Flynn. She's a new DGI employee. This is her second week. So she is working for Downtown Gadsden and Gadsden Commercial Development. So we're happy to have her, and I asked her to come this morning because she's going to learn a lot. If you talk to her after this is over, you will discover that she is not from here. She has lived in the United States for 11 years, but she's from England. So she's got that great voice. She makes everybody happy when they hear her talk. So we've had a lot of positive comments already about that. So I'm just glad she's here this morning. So as Will said, we are back in full swing. Just a little bit of history on me. I started as director of Downtown Gadsden in October of 2007. Before that, I was in the mortgage business for 3 years, but before that, I was a banker for 30 years, and I worked downtown. I've been downtown almost all my life. I grew up coming downtown, so downtown is my passion. I love Downtown Gadsden, and I love seeing Downtown Gadsden flourish. So that's just a little bit of a brief history, but as you can see on the screen, this is a rendering of the good old days. This is Main Street, where we were. This is a true picture. You'll see the old Princess Theater, where the Cultural Arts Center is now. You see the courtyard, the tower of the courtyard, of the courthouse. That was where Court Street is now, and where the future home of the County Board of Education is going to be. So that's just a cool old rendering picture. I love these old pictures. You'll also see, again, here's a then and a now, the old horse and buggy days to where now we have cars in the streets with First Friday. This is just one of my favorite pictures. Runts, the building that we're in now, and again, Downtown Gadsden shares office space with Gadsden Commercial Development. This is the old home of Runt's Hamburgers. This building was built in the 1930s. It was a Texas steer house, but Runt took over just shortly after, just a couple, 3 years after that, and was in business for 50 years. Anybody that grew up in Gadsden had a hamburger or a chili cheeseburger or something from Runt's. We still have people who walk in our office and they just want to look because they remember coming to Runt's. So it's just a fun place. We moved in 2010. The city of Gadsden owns the building, and they did all the work. The only project I think I ever know that the city of Gadsden came in under budget, but they costed out that project and they actually came in under budget. Now, it took them a while to get it done, but it was all done, and we've been there since 2010 and absolutely love it. It's a great place. If you've not been in, you are always welcome to come in and visit. So we have a good time. I often wonder if this was the first Friday. I mean, look at all these people downtown. This is the corner of 5th and Broad Street, back in the early 1900s. I just wonder if this was the first Friday, because that's what it looked like this past Friday night. I'm telling you that right now. Another old, aren't y'all glad we don't have to parallel park? Does anybody in here really like to parallel park? I don't think so. I love our streetscape now that was done in 1998. But this is the old parallel. This is the old days where Broad Street was broad, but they had the parallel parking. The Ike Sachs sign, that's the corner of 5th and Broad. That's where Kerry Wilson Insurance is now, just to kind of give you a little bit of what it was in the early 60s. I put a magazine out there. This is kind of a little version of this map. This is we've broken it down into retail and restaurants, just so if you're ever looking for a place to go, it'll show you that these are retail stores that are DGI members. And this is our restaurants. We have really grown particularly with restaurants over the last few years. There's one restaurant on there right now, SA Cantina, that is going to open up in the next couple of weeks. I went ahead and put it on the map because I know it's going to open up, but he's there. But we have a great variety of retail stores and restaurants. I will say that Downtown Gadsden is a nonprofit organization. We are a membership-based organization. So these are our DGI members that are on this map right here. But if you ever have any questions, our website is downtowngadsden.com. It gives you a lot of information on every one of these businesses that are on there. So we all like to eat, right? And I was talking about restaurants. NOLA on 2nd, which is directly behind the chamber here. If you haven't been there, they opened in the midst of the pandemic. Great food. They're open for dinner and brunch on Sunday. It's in the old Blues Club, so it's a great place to eat. You also see Scoop du Jour if you like ice cream, and if you haven't been to Scoop du Jour, it's so much fun, y'all. They make their own homemade waffle cones there. So you walk in the door and it just smells so good. But you can get Superman ice cream that's blue and red and the kids love it. It's just plain vanilla ice cream. But they do a banana split and a homemade waffle cone. Let me tell you, it is to die for. It is absolutely delicious. They opened in September. We had one First Friday in 2020. That was in September. We tried. We had the mask ordinance. And we said, okay, we're going to do this. If everybody will wear their mask, then we'll do it again. But that didn't go over so well because it's an outside event and people think, well, I'm outside, I don't have to wear my mask. But that was not the deal. And so we weren't able to have it again. But Scoop du Jour opened First Friday in September. I didn't even know they were open. And I think it was just kind of one of those things they put together fairly quickly. But they opened, they were lined out the door all night. If you haven't been there, you need to go. The Downtown Chief, if y'all know that the big chief in Glencoe, same people on the Downtown Chief, they moved into to where the Rail Public House had been. The rail moved up to where Blue had been. We have a lot of domino effects in Downtown Gadsden. Somebody moves, you know, it's all a great happening. But the Downtown Chief, you know, I put a picture up here. This is their Bloody Mary, y'all. If you can see this picture right here, this Bloody Mary is a meal. So this is one of the favorite things that I've seen come out. All of their food is delicious, but that Bloody Mary has onion rings and a hamburger and all kind of things on there. So it just makes a whole meal for you. So you've got 3 restaurants that opened during the pandemic. I don't know that many other small towns can say that, but you've got Nola's, which is absolutely fabulous, and you've got Scoop du Jour, which is just fun things for the whole family. Adults, not only kids, but adults love that. And then you've got the Downtown Chief. All 3 opened during the pandemic. Then, okay, we didn't shut down. This is the great thing about it. We didn't shut down. Have you thrown any axes at Legatha's House of Axe? It's on 3rd Street. I mean, Clinton has the most wonderful business plan. If you get a divorce and you want to put your ex's picture up there, you bring it, they'll put up, you can throw axes at your ex. You know, I mean, that's fun. That's got to be fun, y'all, right? But I tried it when he opened. I'm not very good at it, but it is a lot of fun to do. Clinton has it's a bring your own alcohol, but they keep it behind the bar for you so they can make sure that nothing gets out of control. He's done this. He moved here from Wisconsin, y'all, to do this. So he had connections here, but he moved from Wisconsin to do this. He's done this for many, many years and never had any kind of an incident happen. He knows what he's doing. If you haven't thrown any axes, I encourage you. It's fun. Again, I'm not good, but it's fun. And then Tut Hookah Lounge opened across the street from me in October. That's something we've never had in town before. You find when you have different businesses come in, both of these draw an entirely different crowd of people than somebody that's just going to come shop and eat. So you're going to have people here that have never been to Gadsden before. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for people for different things that will bring different people to Gadsden. So these two, the Legatus House Facts and Tut Hookah Lounge, opened during the pandemic. And then the old becomes new again. Gadsden Variety, the Self family owned that, and they closed. And within 2 months again, I think September, the News bought it and opened it up, and it continues on with the antique mall, the deli, and this building has been in operation as long as I can remember, from Nelson's to McClellan's to when Gene Bronner bought it and named it Gadsden Variety and Deli. So it continues to be in operation. It draws a crowd of people from everywhere. So we are so excited that that has continued on, because that is a main focal point for our downtown, right in the heart of our downtown. So we're excited for that. Again, you see the ferns on the sidewalk in the spring. I would venture to guess that they sell as many ferns as any other non-florist in the state of Alabama. That would be my guess. I don't know how many trips they make to buy these ferns, but they're the best ferns ever, and it's just a great thing. So I gave you a magazine that is specifically about day trips. We are encouraging people within a 90-mile radius to come to Gadsden, to come to downtown. We have a lot of things to offer. On Saturdays, if you come downtown and you talk to the business owners and you see people, they're not from here most of the time. They're from Trussville or Center or Fort Payne or Chattanooga or some other place. So people enjoy coming to our downtown to shop. They like to shop and they like to eat. And then we've got the great public art now on the sidewalks that I think really brings people downtown. I think it's one of those things that people are looking for something different. People now are looking for small towns to visit. I was talking to Ray Wetzel at the Gadsden Museum of Art. He said now they are having more people from all across the country to come and visit. I think Gadsden could be a very, we can draw people for different things. The Museum of Art, if you've not been in there on the 3rd floor, there's a great local history on the 3rd floor of the Museum of Art. So it's, we're becoming known for things like that. And I think that is important to support your local economy. That economic driver, when people come to the Museum of Art, they're going to eat and they're going to shop because they've never been here before. And you know, if you're like me, if you go out of town shopping, you're going to buy because you know you're not going to come back anytime soon. So that's a great economic driver just to get people in town that have not been here before. I think that our Parks and Recreation Department does a fabulous job with the color that we have downtown. The flowers, we have hanging basket, we have big pots. You know, our clock is something that we had a fundraiser for years ago that is just, it just is a draw. Now, when you want to tell somebody that if they're going to go to Harp and Clover, let's say, okay, you go to the clock and you turn right there. So it gives you a landmark that we've never had before too. I must say that I'm disappointed in the choice I made on the background, the face of the clock, because it's hard to read. It's hard to tell what time it is in the daytime unless you get right up there on it. But it's okay. It's still pretty. So it's one of those great things that we have. It's now a landmark in downtown Gadsden. Art is important. I mentioned our sidewalk art. murals we've started having murals now, and well, that's going to be the next slide. I'm jumping ahead of myself, but if you have sidewalk art or murals that people can stroll the sidewalks and look at, it's a great thing to have. The top right, which when that was put out, I had so many complaints. I don't like that. It looks stupid. It looks like a Christmas ornament fell out of the sky. Well, I learned a long time ago that not everybody likes the same type art. My brother was an artist, and I really didn't like everything he did, but because he was my brother, I loved it, whether I liked it or not. But I've learned that people have opinions. So they have an opinion. I don't like that. Okay, great. It's okay. You don't have to like everything, but just give it a chance. The one on the bottom, those are both the same ones. I meant to put opprobrious on there. We have these are both at the corner at Regis Bank, the entrance to Regis Bank parking lot. On the other side is the one that looks like a something that it's just made for kids to crawl through. Artist was Craig Weatherspoon. He's from Tuscaloosa. He was installing it, and some lady stopped as he was installing it and called it opprobrious. Well, I had to go look that up. It's not a pleasant, I mean, it's not a compliment, but she didn't like it. That's fine. He said, don't worry about it. I understand. People don't like all art, but it's really a neat thing to do. We have what on the corner of 7th and Broad, where my office is, a big thing that looks like a giant paperclip to me, but it's really a cool piece of art. So we are in the process now of getting probably another half a dozen art pieces, hopefully, in the near future downtown. Mario Gallardo is working on that, and I think that's going to be a great addition to Gadsden. The mural behind the Cultural Arts Center has been there. Joseph Geary did that, and then came in and kind of refurbished it several years ago. It's just, if you stop and look, it's a great piece of art. I mean, you can recognize faces almost in there. So it's fun, and it's just enjoyable. Then this is the newest edition at First and Broad. I hope everyone has seen that. It's just a great history of our city. And I'm just very, very pleased with that. That was a long time coming. Philip Williams had bought this property and had torn the buildings down, but had left that one wall on his property, just hoping to do something like that. So that was Gadsden Museum Art and Mario Gallardo and Philip Williams. That's a combination of all of those people. And it takes people working together to make this happen. Now, last night, y'all, I couldn't even get my slideshow to Will until last night about 10 o'clock, because the art of giving back. Last night, I was at the Cultural Arts Center. Beverly Bug, who's in the white dress in the middle picture on the bottom, her brother Bobby died last year, and he had these fabulous, these are 20 feet tall. These 3 pieces are 20 feet tall. They were in his home. He had commissioned the artist, who is the gentleman on the left. His name is Shane Pennington from Dallas. Bobby lived in Dallas. He commissioned Shane to just do some art pieces for his home. He had a huge area. Shane was telling last night that he wanted something to go, and so Shane did these pieces for Bobby. Beverly Bug Phillips is from Gadsden. She wanted to give back, to take part of Bobby's collection and give it back so the citizens of Gadsden could enjoy it. So we had this big crowd of people. It was people that Beverly knew that she wanted to be there. It was kind of a private event, but there were probably 150 people there at least last night to look at the unveiling last night of this. So it was, it is so beautiful. If you go upstairs, it's on the curved wall where the Downtown Dance Conservatory is. So I urge you to go in there. Now, if you want to go look at the art upstairs, there's no charge. If you want to go into the Mary G. Hardin Center for Cultural Arts and look at the art, there's no charge for that. So please take time to see what we have here. We have some gorgeous things up there. Also, you know, the longest, smallest, Bobby Welch has always called it the largest, longest train track of a certain size, and I never get it right, so I'm not going to try. But there's a great trade. Kids love it. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. So support the arts. Make sure that you go back and see that. So, okay, we're going to forget the C word. That hopefully, I mean, we know that we still have to be careful. I understand, but we're not going to use that C word anymore that we had in 2020. We're tired of it. I think everybody is tired of it. Our merchants did a great job in doing what it took to survive. We've had so many people, so many merchants do curbside service. They'll do front porch deliveries, internet sales. I mean, they learned what to do. We lost very, very few. And Amy, I'll use you as an example if it's okay. You're sitting back there. She could do what she was doing online. So she did not need her storefront. But the good news is she's coming back. She's coming back to downtown. So we're glad to have that. So we want things to get back to normal, and we want to do that. And as Will, when he called me, he said, okay, First Friday's back. These are pictures from last Friday night. Now, I don't know how many people we had, but everybody was so very happy to be back. We had, you could see that the picture on the bottom left with all the people together, most of the pictures were not like that. Most of the pictures, people are actually spaced out, but I'm not a crowd estimator. I had someone say 8,000 to 10,000 people. Some people say 10,000 to 12,000 people. I don't know how many. I can just tell you there were a lot of people there. Probably 500 to 600 classic cars from all over the Southeast. Car clubs from Tennessee and Georgia called and talked to car clubs in Alabama, say, we want to make this the biggest cruise-in in the state of Alabama. I don't know how many cars that would take, but let me tell you, they were there. They were there early, and they stayed. And that's just, they just come and enjoy it. We had two new things for First Friday. The one in the middle on the bottom, Cindy Isbell had not had a wine tasting or a wine pouring for 5 years at First Friday. We closed off 2nd Street from Chestnut just to the end of her building so she could move outside as well. So she had the first wine pouring at the Stone Market on a First Friday in 5 years. She had a great crowd there. It was a lot of fun. So she was inside and outside. The one on the right-hand side, y'all, we had a belly dancer. This is the Todd Hooker Lounge. This is what makes it successful when businesses want to participate, want to bring in something different. So the Todd Hooker Lounge brought in, well, they have a belly dancer that comes inside, but this is the first time she's been outside. She cleared it with the fire department, with the fire marshal. She had these flaming fire things. It was amazing. It was amazing. So that was the first time that's ever been on a First Friday. So that was this past Friday night, and again, it was great. It was great to be back. Again, everybody was happy, and so it was all good. So this was just a little history. First Friday started in January of 2006. Started in January, one of the coldest months of the year. Sylvia Smith started it as a just something to bring people to her store. She owned the Stone Market. It was on Court Street. So she did a lot of research. She's the one that started it. And it has grown. Perry Jennings was at First Friday night, and she was the one that drugged me to every car club around here after I came to work. So in 2018, she drugged me to every car club, handing out flyers. Come to First Friday, because she saw what was going on at the end of Court Street. She wanted people to come up to her store too. That's how we became a classic car event. I fought that for years. I wanted it to be known as a downtown retail merchants event, but it's a cruise-in. I've decided it's a cruise-in. It's what makes it work. I wanted it to be kind of artsy-craftsy. That was the plan originally. It's a cruise-in, and we're happy and we're thrilled that the people come with their cars from all over the Southeast. We have been given the award of one of the top attractions in the Southeast 2 times. So that's what makes us happy. Mark your calendars. October 19, 2021, Sunset Sips. If you've not been to this before, this is our major fundraiser. We closed the Memorial Bridge, the bridge going over from Broad Street. We have set up, we have beer and wine and music, and just from 5 to 7, you get to stand in the middle of the bridge, look over the Coosa River, and just enjoy yourself. So October the 19th, 2021, we had it scheduled last year, but again, we were not able to do it. But we have a limit of 300 tickets. That's all we'll sell. We don't want it to be too crowded, but it is so much fun to be able to do that. This is really not a Downtown Gadsden event, but it is Downtown Gadsden. I want y'all to be aware of the 5th Street Market and all the activities that go on there. Right now, right now live is the farmers market from 7 until noon on Friday mornings. So they have a lot of great fruits and vegetables and other things as well. So if y'all have not been to the 5th Street Market, it's a great place. This was an old, the city actually bought this building they're going to tear it down and make more parking, but I took Shane Ellison with me to a meeting in Opelika, and they were talking about taking an existing facility and not having to do a lot and making it something else. So he got to thinking, okay, this would be a great building. Don't tear it down. It'd be a great building to do a farmer's market. It's also, the city rents it out. I've been to wedding receptions there. I've been to different kind of things there. You can rent it out and just have a good time. So it is a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun. Musical Mondays. Buster Porch called me 10 years ago and said, Kelly, we've got this water wall. It's between the Pittman and the Downtown Civic Center. Nobody knows about it because if you don't walk, you don't see it. He said, I want to do something. He's got this great jazz collection. He said, I just want to invite people to come, bring their lunch, and I'm going to play some music. They can eat and they can leave. So we did that for a couple of years. And then Carly Doremus came to me and said, hey, I want to give away hot dogs. I want to give away food for the people who don't want to bring their lunch. So for the next 5 or 6 years, we did that. Last year, we were not able to do it. And this year, we're revamping it just a little bit. We're just doing it monthly. We're going to do it the second Monday of the month from 11 to 1. Bring your own. We're going to have the doghouse actually set up there. If you forget your lunch, you just don't want to do it, you can get a hot dog from him, buy a hot dog and do that. So, and listen to some great music. It's just fun to do. You sit around, you bring your friends, and you just talk and you eat and you kind of decompress. It's just so much fun to decompress it and to do that. So Musical Mondays will be starting next Monday, and it goes June through September, second Monday of the month. A new event we did this year, and this was in conjunction with the Chamber. Representative Gil Isbell, Holiday Express, and several others. We collected money, and for our heroes, the ones that worked so hard, hospital workers, ambulance drivers, police officers, firefighters, medics, we gave away gift certificates, $10 gift certificates, not a lot of money. It'll buy your lunch, to hospital workers that came, to the fire department, to police department, ambulance services. And we also had donated, Jane Miles donated 2 weeks to the Hacienda Del Mar at Cabo San Lucas. So we had 2 weeks. So the hospital, everybody that worked at the hospital, because we worked really closely with the hospital to get this done, got a chance to register for each one. We gave a week to each one. So you can see the winners here. I hope they get to go. I hope they get to go. But it's just fun. One from Riverview, one from Gadsden Regional, and you know, it's one of those. It just stirred up a lot of interest. So we had a lot of people downtown that night. We had a good time, and everybody really seemed to enjoy it. So it's just something we're going to try to do again. Maybe not. We won't have 2 weeks probably to give away to Cabo San Lucas, but just to get people downtown. A lot of people don't realize they just haven't been downtown. So that was a lot of fun. we are constantly looking for new things to do. We're revamping. 2020 made us stop and think, maybe we don't need to keep doing things the same way. Let's do things differently. Let's look for some different things. So that's what we hope to do. But one thing that makes a downtown successful, which I do think we have a very successful downtown. When you look at some other downtowns, ours is premier, let me just tell you. And it's everybody working together. But we have a very strong Main Street program. This is one of those things that our Main Street program is strong. And there's 27, there might be 28 now, there's one more this year, 27 designated Main Street cities in the state of Alabama. There's also something called a network city that Main Street, Alabama also offers them some assistance too. But to be a Main Street program, you can't decide you just want to join. There is a huge application process. I've sat on that team before as a Main Street director. I didn't have a vote as to who got in, but there's a huge application process. It's not easy, but a good Main Street program is very helpful. A variety of businesses. We've got retail, we've got restaurants, but we also have banks and attorney's offices, and soon to have the Etowah County Board of Education downtown. Life of Alabama is one of the biggest employers downtown, and their employees are walking the streets, they're eating, they're shopping. That's important to have those businesses as well. So professional office, loft living, oh my gosh, loft living, y'all, is just, that is what makes a downtown a great downtown. And I've got some pictures in just a minute on that. We're very walkable, and we do have guidelines to maintain our historic nature. You can't come in and paint a building purple with pink polka dots, because that's definitely not historic, right? There are guidelines that you have to follow when you come in to do anything to the exterior of your building. Okay, I talked about loft living. Craig King came in. The left-hand picture is Martha and Juice Chocolates. Way back when I first came to work, she moved in, and so it's about 2008. She liked it. Oh my gosh, it was so good, chocolate covered. Oh, it was so good. But anyway, it's been several things. Craig King came in and put JP King. Spent a lot of money to build this building out, beautiful facade, but put 3 apartments upstairs. Those 3 apartments stay rented all the time, but gorgeous. Now look at this. Would you not want to live here? Would you not want to live in downtown Gadsden? Oh, did she really? Does she live there now? Yeah, it's great. I mean, to be able to just move in and be so close to everything. But yeah, this is beautiful. I mean, it really is. Then Philip Williams, I mentioned him a little earlier when I talked about the mural on First Street. He bought this ugly building. I mean, I was afraid to go in that building. I think in my first 6 years, I only went in that building one time. He bought that, he fixed it up, and prior to COVID, they had like 30 employees working in this building. There's an apartment upstairs. Philip lives in Texas, but Gadsden is his hometown, and he has the most wonderful, it just makes a Main Street director cry to listen to his stories about why he reinvests in downtown. But when he comes back home, he stays in that apartment. That's on Chestnut Street, right across from the First Methodist Church. He also bought this building. Now, coming soon in the big building on this right-hand side, they've said Las Brisas is coming into there. As they're moving their restaurant there. You've got the barbershop. You've got Gadsden AL Nutrition. If you've not had their T-bombs, oh my gosh, they are delicious. They're shakes that are meal supplements, absolutely amazing. You've got a salon down on one end. So he bought that building. He fixed that up. Philip Williams has been my hometown hero. He's come in, he's done, he's reinvested in his hometown. Now, my other hometown hero is Caleb Campbell and his family. They put the, federal building, built in 1915, 1934 photo. Growing up here, my dad worked at Internal Revenue, and I grew up in that building because that's where the office was. But Caleb Campbell, his sister Ari's wife, Jenna, decided they wanted to bring their corporate headquarters. They were from here. They wanted to bring their corporate headquarters, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, back to Gadsden. They wanted to move home. Caleb called me because Philip had told him to call me because I had helped Philip with his things. And so I said, well, we're talking about different properties. I said, Caleb, they just put the federal building on online auction. So he bought that federal building, and he has completely leased that federal building. It's absolutely completely leased now. So you can see that's what it looks like now. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal what he's done. Okay, so another young family moves back to town, buy this building, completely renovate it, fix it up, lease it up. Then they said, well, we want to do something else. They buy the building adjacent to it, 612 Broad Street. It is leased now on the bottom to Glory and Grace Dance Studio. They have 7 apartments upstairs, and now they're completely leased. They're full. By the end of October, he hopes they'll have 8 more apartments there. The great thing about this is he's going to have covered parking. I mean, for these apartment dwellers, it's amazing. It is amazing what they're doing. So it's just a fun thing. I mean, it's just a great thing. This is okay. This is Tyler. He's the architect, and then Caleb and his wife Jenna. That's Mary Helmer Worth in the background, which I know you can't see, but they won an award from Main Street for this renovation of this property right here. So, and again, these apartments are huge. I think they're about 12 to 1,400 square feet. They're huge. So they're doing it right. They're doing it right. It's just a great building. So, and then if you've driven up and down Broad Street, y'all, yesterday they moved the fences. I think that's the first time in 3 years there's not been a fence in the 300 block, and I'm so excited. They started a major facelift, Life of Alabama, and it was. Am I running out of time, Will? I'm good. Okay. I didn't ask him how long I was supposed to talk, and y'all, I get up here and I just start rambling. I'm sorry, but anyway, but they have done this. They started in 2018. They've taken every building and tried to replicate what it was back in the early 1900s. There was an aluminum siding guy that came through here, this town, somewhere in sometime in the 60s, and sold this. Anyway, but they took all that off. And now, here you go. I was on Broad Street last night at 6:15 making these pictures because there's no fences out there, y'all. I tried to get a wide shot of everything that they've done. I love this where W.T. Grant's was, and they came in and they refurbished that top glass, and then the curved glass on the old Crest building is absolutely beautiful. And they ordered that glass back in October. It finally came in April. 6 months later, it was broken. So they had to reorder, but they got it in the end of May, and now they finished it up. It's just absolutely amazing. In fact, August 18th through 20th, we're having the State Main Street Conference here in Downtown Gadsden. We're meeting the first day in the Crest building. It's going to be set up auditorium style. We're meeting there, and it's just going to be great. It's absolutely going to be great. We can't do any of this without our partners. I mean, we have to have support from other people. So Greater Gadsden Area Tourism, Hugh Stump, has been a huge help to Downtown Gadsden. Alabama Mountain Lakes Association gets the word out about what we do. And we are considered one of the premier downtowns in the state of Alabama. Now, we also have great community partners, the City of Gadsden. They provide financial assistance. They're about half of my budget. They provide about half of my budget, but they also provide security for First Friday, for other events that we need. I mentioned we share office space with Gadsden Commercial Development, so we're able to share information and expenses through that. We love the arts. We want to promote the arts as best we can. So the Hardin Center, the Museum of Art and Walnut Gallery, Main Street, Alabama, of course, is really our go-to. They're our big supporter. Alabama Historical Commission helps us a lot, and of course the Chamber. We were talking earlier, Downtown Gadsden is kind of like a mini chamber just for our downtown merchants. If you're not downtown, it's a very close group, but you can be a member of Downtown Gadsden if you're a downtown merchant. So that's what we do. we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to press on. We're going to continue to grow. That's our goal through progress and preservation. We're going to try to fill our empty storefronts. We don't have many to fill, which is a great problem. The ones that we do have, they're not ready to lease. So we're just trying to get people to fix up their buildings so they can be done. And we're going to continue to bring people downtown so they will know we have a downtown. I honestly credit First Friday with bringing the number of people they do to remind people that we have a great downtown. Again, I grew up here. I grew up going downtown, so I knew about downtown, but a lot of people don't. So if you have, again, our website is downtowngadsden.com. That's real easy. We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got Twitter, we got any kind of social media I think that you could find us on. So if you're interested in what's going on, that's the place to go look. My board is a great support for me. Spencer Williams from Alabama Power is my president, Lynn McCain is vice president, Judy Rubel, secretary, Kevin Phillips is treasurer, and then Catherine Martin is my past president. And then here's the rest of my board members. They're all so supportive. They're all, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? And you've got to have that. As a director, you need the backup of people, because things don't always go right. And sometimes somebody gets mad at you and you have to have somebody say, hey, I need your help. I need you to deal with this person because we're not communicating well. So, and that's a great thing to have. Almost the end. What have I left out? Anybody questions? Got most of it, I hope. All I can say is thank you for your support. Without the support of the people, our merchants would have never gotten through 2020. We had people, they would buy when they didn't need. They would tip large at restaurants. I mean, you buy a $20 meal, you leave a $20 tip. I mean, we had people that really stepped up, because I honestly believe people are tired of the big box stores. I believe right now the move, thank goodness, is to small towns. Everywhere. It's not just here, it's everywhere. So when you travel, think local first. They may not have what you want exactly, but go and look first. I mean, Catherine and I went yesterday, we were trying to find something. Didn't have it, but we tried. So now we'll go to our next step. But when you travel, think local first. I think you'll be glad you did. And you're going to find things that you didn't know you needed, but you'd like to have. So that's always a good thing. Our tagline, small town, small shops, big treasures, great taste. That's Downtown Gadsden. And we're proud to be here. We are grateful for your support. And that's all I got. I'm done, Will. I mean, nobody has any questions at all. Okay. Yay. Okay.
There we go. And
well, I appreciate that. It's not just me. There is everybody working together, all of these merchants pulling in the same direction, and that's what makes us successful. But thank you.
Okay, well, if you guys have more questions, there who are tuning in online, feel free to put those in right now before we wrap up. But yeah, we're lucky to have Kay Moore in this area. She is awesome to work with, fantastic support of Downtown Gadsden. I know when we were shut down during the pandemic last year that I was eating out about every day for lunch, going out and the curbside pickup options and everything, the downtown restaurants and stores was great to see. And I can vouch for you saying that they pushed through, because they certainly did. Just seen last year.
Right.
So
we all learned a lot. We learned a lot. We've got to be ready. And I think hopefully this never happens again. But they did do what needed to be done, and I think that's the most important thing.
I completely agree. I don't see more questions in the chat here, so I'll go ahead and turn off the recording really quick.